Gamers, this is how I made $2.5 million as an idiot in my early 20s. And just so you know, this is real. Over 7,000 invoices or payments, over 4.4 thousand succeeded. This is what I did over the last 4 years. And in this video, I'm just going to give you the model so you could just copy me. So if you're a video game coach, YouTuber, streamer, and you know what it's like to stream for 12 hours a day, make YouTube videos 12 hours a day, do it 7 days a week, and still be broke, I know the struggle because I did it for over a decade as a gaming YouTuber, and now I am here coaching video game coaches. So I'm the guy coaching coaches. Yeah, I know. It's, you know, you die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Anyways, in this video, I'm just going to show you the model that I used to generate millions of dollars in my early 20s. And the reason I know it works is because guess what? I still do it. I still use it. This is the business model. This is the backbone of my business. It's not the only model that we run now. We've experimented and tested some other things that work. But I'm just going to give you this model because this was kind of my first grand slam offer as an entrepreneur. And I'm just going to be walking you guys through exactly what I did. So feel free to copy it and steal it. Enjoy. What is the problem with being a video game coach? The problem is being a video game coach is invisible. You're a commodity. If you're a video game coach, you go on a platform like Medify, okay? So Medify is, for those of you who don't know, basically like Fiverr, but for video game coaches, right? And even some video coaches use Fiverr, which is basically just to say a marketplace where you list your coaching and you can list your hourly. The problem with coaching hourly is that you're capped. You are a commodity. If you go on Fiverr, if you go on Medify, if you go on Gamer Sensei, any of these platforms, man, maybe there was a time where being a Medify coach was just a cheat code and you were like one of 3 people and just everybody booked you. But I have pro coaches on my team now. So like pro coaches in Rocket League who coach on my team who have literally told me Medify is dead. And I love the people at Medify CEO, leadership team. I still love you. I use your platform. It's an awesome platform. I'm going to show you guys how you can use it. But just being a coach listed on the Medify platform is dead. Why is it dead? The reason is, if you go on Medify here and you just say, I'm going to be a coach for Rocket League. Okay. Here's me at the top of the list. And here's some other coaches on the platform. If you just go down here and say, I'm going to list myself as a session, you're just in the sea. You'll notice like my events are at the top of every section, my courses are at the top of every section, my community's at the top of every section. Well, I realized very quickly the reason for that is if you just go and you try to be a coach here, and how do I even get to the coach section? See, I don't even know how to get to the coach section because even Medify themselves don't want you to do this anymore. If you just try to list yourself as a coach, can I even go to like Valorant? Okay, if you just list yourself as a coach here, all of the sessions, guys, go to these people. And really, do you know who the sessions go to? They go to this guy. They go to the number 1 guy. If you are anyone but the number 1 guy, right, in Rocket League, it's me, all the sessions go to him. Everybody else, you guys are fighting for scraps. That's just how it goes. And so what happens is it's a race to the bottom. The only way to get students is instead of charging like a livable hourly wage, especially if people are canceling on you, you have to charge like $10 an hour. It's a race to the bottom. If you want to get listed, you have to charge 20, 15, and you're just a commodity. Nobody knows why they should book with you. And the only way to get customers is to just charge nothing, make no money, be sad, work all our hours of the day and still be broke. I know because I did it. So what's the alternative? The alternative is hourly doesn't work, but that doesn't mean coaching doesn't work. I've heard people say coaching doesn't work anymore. This is wrong. This is just idiotic. And I have receipts to prove that. If you guys want proof that coaching still works, here's a server. So we have 3 servers. I have 3 servers with 57,000 people. I have a paid community with 500 paying members. And I have a coaching server. And every channel you see on the left side, all these new messages, these are new students. So to say coaching doesn't work is moronic. All these white messages means I haven't read the chat. So it's probably a new chat. Okay, so these are all dead chats at the bottom. But if you go to the top, these are all new chats. So to say coaching doesn't work is crazy work. Coaching does work. The issue is listing on Medify, Gamer Sensei, etc. One-off hourly coaching doesn't work. Why does one-off hourly coaching not work? Well, because in order to fuel a business, guys, you guys need to understand, so many gamers don't understand the economics of running a business. The goal in coaching is not to have $30 an hour hourly rate. The goal in coaching is to have 60 to 80% profit margins. And you're looking at this, and if you're new to the business world, or if you're not in the business world, you probably look at that and go, oh my God, what are you talking about, Luke? How could you have 60 to 80% profit margin? What do you mean? I'm talking about gross profit. The issue with running a coaching business, guys, is coaching is not a coaching business. Coaching is a marketing business. The hard part about scaling a coaching business is not coaching, expertise, knowledge, results. The hard part is marketing. Marketing is the hard part. Guys, you need to be profiting 60 to 80% gross profit. Why? Because after you make your gross profit is profit after I pay the coach. So after the coach gets paid for their hourly, okay, you still need to be making 60 to 80% on top of that. Why? Because what do you have to do? You have to pay for software. And when I say pay for software, I mean pay for editing software. You have to pay for video editors, streaming, YouTube videos. You have to pay to run the business, like fees, bank accounts, cards, legal, taxes. You have to pay support staff. You know, if you're going to have support staff that actually check in on your team, you need to pay Calendly or a calendar subscription, okay? If you get this to a certain point, you need to pay salespeople. And after all this, guys, after you pay for editing software, after you pay the coach, after you pay for video editors, after you pay for the fees of running the business, after you pay support staff, pay subscriptions like Calendly, after you pay salespeople, then you need to pay yourself. And then you have to pay taxes on what you pay yourself. So people have this idea like, I'm going to charge 30 an hour. And I don't know. I think it's like you because you think the only cost is your time, guys. It's not your time. If you're just doing it yourself, okay, and you're just doing it for fun and you're just doing a side hustle, by all means, that is like the market rate. The market rate is honestly lower than that. The market rate is like $20 an hour if you have no experience, maybe a little higher if you have experience. You have to be able to pay to run a business, which is not cheap. So what I realized early on is the whole video game coaching industry is broken. Personal trainers, they charge $100 an hour. Massage therapists, like if you go to get a like professional massage, they'll charge $150 an hour. Golf coaches, what do they charge? They charge $250 an hour. I would know because my dad loves golf. And he's like, oh yeah, I drop 2 sessions a week. I'm like, 2 sessions a week? Do the math. But video game coaches charge $15 an hour. How? Like it's not livable. And this is why most people stay broke. And I don't use broke as an insult. I mean, broke is just a fact, like below livable in the US. And so you need to charge higher prices. Charging $30 an hour, $50 an hour doesn't work. But how do you charge higher prices? You can't just start charging people $150 an hour and expect them to pay your hourly. They're not going to pay you. Why would they pay you? They would just go to the next coach on Medify. So what you have to do is break free from being a commodity. And the way you do that is create an offer. So instead of just saying, I will coach you for 60 minutes, that is an offer. You need to offer the audience something, a trade that they would feel stupid saying no to. So how do we charge something that's $500? How do you charge something that's $1,000 in video game coaching? How do you charge something that's $1,500 in video game coaching? Thought experiment. It's not going to be one session. And by the way, today we do this for between the system that I'm about to show you, we do between $300 and $1,500. This is what I call the bootcamp offer. We still run it today. So we charge between $300 and $1,500 for it. And what is it? Well, instead of just selling off a one-off session, you can massively multiply value. You can stack value. And when you stack value, it doesn't add, it multiplies by combining things. So what we did, there's dream outcome. There is percent likelihood they're going to get it. Then there is time. And then there's effort and sacrifice. To make a banger offer, increase perceived likelihood of achievement. Time, decrease effort and sacrifice. And so what you want to make is an offer where the outcome is big, but realistic, because the percent likelihood that they actually get it has to be high. You want the time that they're going to get it to be minimal, and you want the amount of work or effort or sacrifice they're going to put in. You want to minimize it on their end. And so this is where my first offer that I launched 4 years ago, which was 6 weeks, GC, roadmap. In 2021, in Rocket League, when it was a time when you could actually get GC in much smaller timeframes, we launched an offer where we basically coach you for 6 weeks. Over those 6 weeks, you would get 12 sessions. In those 12 sessions, you would also have a live 6-week cohort, so you're training with 50 to 100 other students. You would have a GC or better than money back guarantee. I'll explain what that means. You would also have access to a curriculum training library. So these were like custom videos, tools and resources, etc. Group events, and there may have been some other things that I'm missing here, but basically we stacked like 5 or 6 things. So normally people would buy a course, they'd buy a session. We put it all in one and then put a guarantee on top of it. And when we did that, we were able to charge between $600 and $1,500 for this experience. And by the way, when I say $600 to $1,500, it started as a $600 product, and then we slowly increased the price, and people kept buying. So that's how you do this. You start low, and then you work your way up, month by month. And this took us, 2-3 years. What happens is, if you're getting $1,000 from somebody for a 45-day experience, and you have to budget, let's say $200 to $300 for the coaching, but you're keeping $600, you could actually run a business. You could pay for editors, you could pay for support staff, you could pay for coaches, you could pay for guest events, you could give back to the community. And so basically what we did, guys, is I created an offer that people felt stupid saying no to. And you go, why would anybody pay $600, $900, over $1,000 for this experience? Well, if you think about what this is, they're getting 12 sessions. That would normally be $400 in value. We can bulk pay coaches, and so get a better rate. Then they would be access to a cohort. They would have an experience. They would meet other players. They would find teammates. That's multiple hundreds of dollars of value. Then they would get a guarantee. And the way the guarantee worked is if they didn't get a certain amount of MMR, which was 300 MMR from the starting point, we would keep coaching them until they did. In other words, we would reset them into the next cohort. So then we packed out the next cohort too. They would get, video modules and stuff, which, these days some Rocket League YouTubers charge $100 alone for. They would get group events, which if you pay for today cost between $10 and $50, and they would get many of those. And so then you add all these things up and you're going, oh, this is over a $600 value. This is over $1,000 value. Of course, people said yes more than they said no. And I'm oversimplifying the whole experience here because I don't have time to explain it all. But what this did is it allowed us to scale up, especially in this time, right? And do months where we were doing 50K a month, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100K a month, right? And when you think about it that way, 100K a month is selling 150 students or 200 students. Just much more attainable than selling, I don't even want to do the math, $30 an hour. How many hours of coaching you would have to sell to do $100,000? Yeah, 3,000 hours of coaching. Good luck. So this is the idea. And still today, we run a variation of this 6-week GC roadmap offer. But now we've obviously had to change it for the way Rocket League runs. Rocket League isn't as popular. So today, we killed cohort. We extended to 12 weeks because it's harder to rank up these days in Rocket League than it used to be. Now we do one-on-one, heavier one-on-one. We have this unlimited offer, which I can talk about in future videos, which is crushing for us right now. This is a modification of the previous offer we did. And as you can see, we have, pro coaches on the roster. So, Freaky Shock, Torment, if you're in the Rocket League space, you'll know that these are pro players, even world champions. And you'll see that people still sign up today. Here was a guy named One Last Thing that I signed up start of this month. And he's, working with a coach right now. Let's go to another coach. Let's go to Shock here. Here is Butt Mouth. He started on the 20th, so he just started. He hasn't had his first session yet. Here's another player named Poor Plan, who restarted back up in July. Just came back recently. So you can see it still works. The play still works. And by the way, I probably should have addressed this earlier, but the reason the Stripe screenshot goes down is because we don't use Stripe anymore as a payment platform. We use Medify and WAP. So we stopped taking payments about a year ago on this platform. We phased it out. And by the way, the numbers are no longer up here. The numbers are down here because Rocket League isn't where it used to be, and also my audience isn't as big as it used to be. But all that being said, this offer crushed for us, and this is kind of how it worked. And this is the basics of how it worked. Now, I can't possibly go into all the details of how to do it in one video right now, but if this is something that's popular, happy to talk more about this. I think, like some future points are like the difficult part of doing this, you also need to set up sales calls. You can't sell this on a checkout page. You need to have a phone call because you can't explain all of this stuff on one page. People just aren't going to check out. People aren't going to get it. They're not going to buy. You also need to have a booking process. So you need to have sales call, which means you need a sales team, right? You need a booking process. So you have to set up like calendar automations. You're going to need to have custom landing pages built like this. You're going to need all this custom stuff. You're going to need to know what questions to ask, how to book, how to DQ, what the rules are on who you talk to, how you talk to them, the scripts for the sales call. That's very complicated. You're going to need a support team, because once you onboard somebody, you don't just want them to work with a coach alone. You need a support team. You need customer success. You need a team of coaches, ideally, so you're not the one doing the coaching. How do you pay them? The systems, the setup. You're going to need to set up a Discord. So you need like an actual product. And today, we have this 3 Discord setup, but these Discords, each on their own, is very complex. Obviously, in this whole time, you need to build out a YouTube or a Twitch team, because you need to scale, you need to get traffic. So like, hopefully you guys are understanding, like, yes, the model is simple. Like, this is what I ran. And if you want to steal this, run it for yourself. It's also a lot of work. Right? It's simple, but it's a lot of work. And that's why most people don't do it. And that's why most people won't be successful. But I was not a pro player when I played Rocket League. I'm a very high ranked player, but I'm not a pro. What I did is I just worked my ass off. I just worked my ass off for the last 4 years, and I still have many more years working my ass off to get to where I want to be. But I just wanted to show you guys this stuff, and if you can steal it, and if it helps you, great. And if you want my help with implementing any of this, or if you have more questions, DM me on Discord. I'm not working with any other video game coaches like personally right now, but I'm thinking about taking a group call soon. I'm adding a group call soon. So if you're a video game coach with over 10,000 subscribers or 10,000 Twitch followers, hit me up. I'm happy to talk to you, see if I can help you, scale, do something similar to this, make it work for your game. Not taking on any creators this year to work personally, but one day the goal is like, we're working with a guy right now, and I want to help video game coaches make more money, and that means if you can steal this stuff and get it off the ground and make make a bunch, and then one day you want me to come in and help you really gas it, and inject my energy, my growth, and everything with me and my team, what we still do today. I would love to, invest in help you guys scale your businesses too. So video game coaches, I hope this helped. Let me know what questions you have about this. Please comment below, and I will answer them in future videos as a follow-up. Thanks so much for watching. Go make some money. Good luck. Bye.